Hello there, my name is Dr. Saleem Javed, and we have been talking about that how Hollywood became such an important entity. What were the events that established Hollywood as we know it today? As we know that by the year 1913, majority of the independents from New York shifted to Hollywood. By 1914, majority of the independents decided that they are not going to make one reeler or two reeler. They left it for cartoon, newsreels, and serial installments. By the year 1914, the World War I started, and the entire Europe got into the war. Now, this gave an opportunity to America and American film industry as the profit surged, accompanied by rising cost as the industry experienced fast expansion in multiple directions, creating and disseminating fortune in the process. And cinema and the cinema industry itself, it it also participated in this race, and the corporation, particularly Paramount, that invested in feature film thrived and gained power, while other focused on shorter films were obliterated. Now, this is something really important, that Paramount, I mean, we still see the film on Star Movies and other film channels. Paramount is still, there, and they were the first one who invested in feature films, and they thrived. Other people like Kellem, Star Films, Journal Films, Biograph, and the Edison Company were all obliterated by the burgeoning film demand for feature film, as I explained in my early videos, with the MPPC diminishing to irrelevance throughout the war year. Now, cinema, went beyond the capacity of just a production process. It started getting the shape of an industry where investment, return, stars, aspirations, scandals, and other things were started taking shape. Now, all the established companies which were like big names during MPPC time, they started, they were obliterated, and soon they realized that the time for one reeler has gone, and it is the time when you have to make longer films, because people, US American audience tasted and have seen feature films from Italy and France. Now they are involved in the war, so they demanded their own people to give them the film of the same grandeur and of same scale, of same style, which are born in the soil of US, and it is catering to the taste of US citizen. Now, Vitagraph, Lubin, Selig, and Esnay temporarily persisted by amalgamating as VLSE, while the independent entities, Mutual Reliance and Keystone, united to establish the ephemeral yet significant Triangle Film Corporation, which concurrently engaged the expertise of America's cinema's three foremost directors. One was D.W. Griffith, Thomas H. Inge, and Mack Sennett. Now, concurrently, Paramount, along with Universal and Fox to a lesser degree, commenced unprecedented production of feature film. By 1915, Paramount was releasing, now this is important, Paramount was releasing 3 to 4 feature films weekly to approximately 5,000 theaters nationwide. Now, look, I mean, some, 3-4 lectures back we were talking about, distributors giving films, and now you are seeing that one, Paramount itself is releasing 3 to 4 feature films weekly to approximately 5,000 theaters nationwide. Look at the magnitude, you know. It's not 3 to 4 one reeler, 3 to 4 feature films weekly to approximately 5,000 theaters nationwide. The you know this expensive new market for feature length film prompted significant changes in both the structure and scale of the business. I mean, you think of anybody, there are a lot of YouTubers who are making film now. Fit it there that Mr. X is releasing 3 to 4 feature films weekly to on YouTube, you know. So there is one theater right now, which is or maybe multiple, like on different OTT platforms, or on or YouTube, but 3 to 4 feature films weekly. I mean, difficult to imagine actually, and very challenging, but obviously it was paramount. It is paramount for that matter. The expensive new market for feature length film prompted significant changes in both the structure and scale of the business. Now this is important, as you can see on your screen, as film distribution, as film duration, sorry, climbed fivefold. Now this is really important. As the film durations climbed fivefold, and the remuneration for stars and payment for screen rights surged significantly, production costs escalated from 500 to $1,000 per film to between $12,000 and $20,000, with expenditures expected to triple in post-war period. Now, sometimes when people, those who are interested in doing the research on where to find cost, what was the budget of early films, it was one of my areas. So I was struggling it. So it is the information that I collected during that time, and the narrative of film. It's a brilliant book by Cook. The author's name is Cook, and you I used to read that book, and this is material from there. So think of that, as long as you were making one reeler, please understand the production, why MPPC was interested in one reeler, and why American audience was interested after watching films from Italy and France into watching full length feature film. Not full length feature film, I mean longer films. Full length feature film is quite late phenomena, at least 10 years and 20 years late phenomena, where you had 3 hours long film, or now 2 hours long film. Now whatever the time, say 2 minutes, so it became fivefold, the film became longer. If it was 10 minutes, so it became 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, more than 40 or 45 minutes. So now when you have longer films, please understand what is happening with a long film. You require actor for a long time, you require director for a long time, you require crew for a long time, you need to add multiple departments because now the budget is bigger, and you have to give them not only a good story, but a good production value also, because you are taking a longer time. And then it's like you really have to take care of a lot of things. and now writers, there will be more writers, uh, this production design will be happening, though it was after Gone with the Wind, or with the Gone with the Wind, this production designing department was taken into consideration. I'll be talking about that also. Otherwise, before that, production designing was not credited at all. I mean, it was always there, it has been there, but it was not credited at all. Now, when you have longer product, you know, so your cost will go up, your actors will demand more, your directors will demand more, your crew will demand more, your other crew members will demand more, and now more than anything, the producer is under more pressure to recover his cost. You know, if it is, if suppose if it is one reeler, suppose 5 of the one reelers are like doing okay, you know they are doing okay, sort of a thing. Oh fine, I mean, people are watching, people are paying. Now think of the cost, that now earlier you were putting $200 per film. Now during the war period you are putting 500 to $1,000 per film. I am talking about 1914. I am talking about 1914, remember. Now per film you are putting 500 to $1,000, and by the time this post war period, or by the time this war ends, the budget has gone between 12,000 to $20,000. Now 1914 to 1918, please imagine 4 years, from 500 to $1,000 to 12,000 or 20,000. Now it is not like per year it is getting double. I mean, per year it is getting more than double, triple, 4 times, 5 times. So in 1914, if the cost was the mean of the cost was 750, so by 1918 the mean of the cost was 1750, 750 to 17,000, oh yes, 17,500. So 1914 the mean was 750, by 1980 the mean was $17,500 per film. Now that is the gap. The cost was exponentially increasing. It was exponentially increasing within the 4 years. Within the 4 years, it jumped from 1,000 to 20,000. Now during this period, now as you can see on your screen, during this period production profits were secured by the promotion of the star system and comprehensive advertising to enhance demand. Now if you understand these 3-4 lines, you understand the PR, which you study during, which you study as part of your syllabus in school, in UG and PG level, or many of us do our PhD in event management and PR and films and advertising. Now this is where it gives birth to PR and advertising. These 3-4 lines are the germination point of advertising and PR. Now why do you need to promote your film? Why do you need to promote your film? There is a simple reason, because the cost is high. Because the cost is high. Because earlier you were making one reeler, now you are making longer films. MPPC was not wrong in some context. I am not supporting MPPC, later on don't blame me for that, but MPPC was very cautious that the moment you make longer films, the stars will demand more, they will demand for their for the right, it is my, because I am playing so and so character for a long time, give my name, give me money. And that is what exactly happened. If you remember, during our lecture I told you that Charlie Chaplin was demanding 1 million in his time. initially when MPPC was collapsed. And before that, Charlie Chaplin was one of the paid actors. But Charlie Chaplin became such a big name that he started commanding studio executives also. And when studio executive got their revenge, they put Charlie Chaplin, even the great Charlie Chaplin, in place. And Hays Code and everything I'll be talking about when I'll be exclusively talking about Charlie Chaplin. But now, because production is longer, everybody, producer is spending more money, there is so much at stake that the producer does not want people not to know about his film. Think of $500 in 1914 to $1,000 maximum, and within 4 years it was like $20,000. So, when you buy an expensive watch, you say, okay, look, come see this, this is an expensive watch. It is not, I'm joking, it's a very normal watch. But if you buy a expensive watch, you go and show around, people should know it that you have bought an expensive watch. So, this expensiveness gives birth to PR and advertising, unless your product is not expensive. If your product is expensive, think of yourself that when you put on glad rags, glad rags is good clothes, please. Rags does not mean pade hue kapde. Glad rags means when you put best of your clothes. That's why one of the awards was glad rags. So when you put on your glad rags, you want people to see you. You go to people, or you call them, you send them your selfie, tell me how am I looking, I am in my glad rags. So what is true for you is also true for the producer. Is also true for, now somewhere he was investing $500, now he is investing $20,000 within a span of 4 years. Why do you not expect him to let people know that, look, I have made this film, this is an expensive film, I have invested so much, so I will invest in advertising also, I will invest in PR also, and people will get excited and they will come and see the film, and this is how I will recover my money. So, it's not a rocket science to understand why PR and advertising started, because your product is expensive. As simple as that. When you have an expensive product, you need advertising, you need PR for that. Now, producers also pursued methods of national distribution to enhance their returns on the growing investment. What I just said, as customary, it was Adolf Zukor. Now, this is a name which is like, it is there in the history. Don't think of Adolf Hitler. Obviously, the first name is the same. So, it was Adolf Zukor of the famous player company and Zess L. Lasky of the feature play company, both subsequently affiliated with Paramount, who pioneered this initiative. Now, let us talk about a very interesting phenomena called block booking. Now, what is a block booking dispute and the acquisition of theatre, how this thing was happening? I just took a name called Adolf Zukor. Now, Adolf Zukor amalgamated his famous player company with the Paramount Distribution Exchange and 12 other entities to establish the famous player Lasky Corporation, subsequently Paramount Pictures, which temporarily dominated the business by pioneering the practice of something called block booking. Now, please understand, this term block booking was one of the reasons when in 1980s Indian film industry shut down for some time. Very few people know about it, that now this particular topic called block booking has a direct relevance with Indian film industry. All the major film actors, they came on road, protested. Even a lot of film students doesn't know about it, But you understand first about block booking when I'll be talking about Indian cinema, and especially 1980s, late 1970s and early 1980s. I'll be talking about the repercussion of block booking on Indian cinema, and how actually a lot of A-listers protested against something called block booking. Now, what happens in block booking? You know, I mean, you can see it on screen. The block booking distribution structure compels exhibitor to accept a production company's film in substantial group or blocks, linked to many highly sought after movies prior to production. This is, had I been in graduation and somebody would have given me this particular line, it must have gone over my head. Now, there is a simple explanation. Let me tell it to you. It is saying simple thing. Then suppose if I am Yashraj, okay, and it happens. So it's not a bogus example. So if I say I am Yashraj and I go and meet the exhibitors and I'll tell them कि भाई मेरी एक फिल्म आने वाली है, एक था टाइगर. तो every distributor will say कि okay यशराज sir, give it to us. So I said okay ठीक है, मैं I'll give you my film, लेकिन मेरे पास ना 4 फिल्में और हैं, and I want you to take those 4 films, only then I'll give you एक था टाइगर. And एक था टाइगर is like blockbuster. So now tell me what exhibitors should do. Should they take 4 films because they want to take एक था टाइगर, और से जवान फॉर दैट मैटर, ठीक है. शाहरुख खान की 3 फिल्में नहीं उससे पहले चली, तो ब्लॉक बुकिंग वाला नहीं था, बल्कि वो तो उल्टा था. मतलब जवान वाज लाइक एब्सोल्युटली द फ्लिप ऑफ ब्लॉक बुकिंग. 3 films were not working and this film clicked and it went off like anything up to the national award sort of a thing. So block booking says that okay fine, you are waiting for this particular film, please, but please, so now I have to be sober because I really have to teach you. So it says please take these 3 more. Now but the way was, unless you don't take these 3, I am not giving you this one. But the projection was okay, you want this, thank you, but please take these 3. Now, whatever you think of that it was an extortion or it was a good offer, ek ke badle sabun ke saath kangi free, whatever you think of, these are the advertising things. Nobody gives a pen with a tire. तो पेन भी आपको तेल के साथ मिलेगा. Nobody gives a pen with a tire. So the gift is as per the market segmentation. So it was like this, okay, you want this, please take this. Or the true face was, if you want this, you take this. So this is called block booking. Now, very interesting thing that happened, then rest that I talk about, as you can see this on your screen, this all for nothing distribution model evidently compelled producers who were guaranteed or consistent market for their film irrespective of the quality, leading to its widespread adoption by every production company in the industry. And later on even it failed, later on it failed. In 1917, executives from 26 major first run exhibition chains founded the first national exhibition circuit to compete with Paramount famous players, Lassie Corporation, by creating or distributing their own film. Now this is what is interesting, I mean, that is the advantage of being a teacher. I mean, it's sometimes you feel that you are in the right profession, when you actually see history repeating itself and you get to read it and you get to tell it. That is where the best part is, that makes you feel that teaching is a best profession, but because not only you get to observe a lot of things, you actually draw parallel, between two incidents. Now, what MPPC was doing earlier, now this Paramount and Lasky are doing with the block booking. MPPC failed, and this block booking by Paramount and Lasky Corporation failed. When people, it was Lasky and people from Paramount and Adolf who who formed a group against MPPC, and they became independent. But very interestingly, they themselves became MPPC for other people. Now those other people then becomes independent, and this is how you have just seen that in 1917 executives from 26 major first run exhibition chains founded the first national exhibition circuit to compete with Paramount famous player and Lassie Corporation by creating or by distributing their own films. And this is what fun is, that when the oppressor becomes when the there is a very beautiful saying that when the oppressed become the oppressor, they are far more dangerous oppressor than the previous oppressor. Now this is, so I mean MPPC was saying, okay, we don't give you, fine, we'll put a case on you, that is absolutely fine. And what these guys did, actually they said ki if you don't buy this, we will not give you this. So that extortion, the element of extortion is there, is here, but only the nature is different. I'll be talking about how Hollywood, became Hollywood because there was a war in Europe going on, and what was there which made Hollywood Hollywood very soon. Thank you very much.